So we are on lecture 3 in the series, The Elijah Message. And we have been using a historical and a present day application. What do I mean by that? We have already said before that we are called to preach the Elijah message as Adventists. Who have heard that? Yes, we have all heard that. But what does that mean? Some of you weren't here last week and I'm very sorry, so you're going to take a little time to catch up. But it goes intuitively that if you're going to preach Elijah's message, the message must come from Elijah's mouth and from his experience. How does that sound? Amen. Does that sound reasonable? Yes. If it's Elijah's message, it must come from, can't come from Daniel. Daniel may say the same message, but Elijah's message must be in the context of whose experience? Elijah, and from whose words? God's word, but Elijah speaking. Make sense, friends? Yes. Right. So we're going to look at that in the context of historical. Meaning, what did Elijah experience in his time? And then we're going to make some application as it relates to present day applications. Alright? Now, we have been using as our theme scripture Malachi 4 verse 5 and 6, which says, "Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord." Now clearly, we don't expect Elijah to physically come, but he will come through his what? His message, his words, his message. And this coming of his message, my brothers and sisters, is in the context of before the coming of Jesus Christ. Now, we all attested this morning that Christ coming is soon. Is that true? Yes. So when is Elijah's message relevant? No. It's relevant for now. Yes. "And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse." Now, what I'm putting up here is our discourse for last week. Now, some of you are going to be a little bit lost, but rest assured, I'm going to give a quick summary and then we're going to move on. So we saw that Elijah's message found its meaning in the context of a battle going on with Ahab, Jezebel, Elijah, and a few other players. We saw that last week, remember? Yes. And I said to us, when we understand Elijah's message, it must be understood in the context of a tension going on between Ahab and Jezebel as a church-state union, and Elijah and who he represents as the antagonist. So that's the issue and the tension going on when we discuss Elijah's message. So here what am I saying? All that Elijah experienced is relevant to Elijah's message, but to see its true application in our time, it's seen in the context whenever the players include who? Ahab, Jezebel, and Elijah. Are you following us so far? Yes. So we started our discussion last week. We looked at 1 Kings 16:29 to 1 Kings 17:24. And there was a period of a drought for how long? 3.5 years, which in prophet time is how many years? 1,260 years. And which started from 530 AD to 1798. And we saw the application as it relates to the church of Thyatira, which was a widow woman that Elijah went and was sustained. He asked for bread and he asked for what? Water. Jesus Christ is the bread of life and also what? The water of life. But she had a son. And we saw that son in the church of Sardis, who was a dead son. Because we learned in Revelation chapter 3 verse 1 that thou art dead. That was the message that was given to who? Sardis. But we saw that Elijah portrayed an enacted parable where he applied himself 3 times to this dead son. And we saw that application was during the church of Philadelphia, the Millerite movement, where 3 messages were applied to this dead son. We looked at that. And we saw there the first, second, and the third angel message. And the church of Philadelphia, this church of brotherly love, was a church that was what? Revived. And it's interesting, I'd love for you guys to go home and read up the church of Philadelphia. It's just about the only church that doesn't really have any rebuke, if I remember serving correctly. Because this was a church that was truly Christ-centered and focused on Christ. And they embraced these 3 messages as seen in the Millerite movement. And it brought great restoration. And that was from 1798 to 1844, and we studied that in 1 Kings 18:17 to 46. Now we're going to go one step further now. Beyond the church of Philadelphia, the church of Laodicea. So what I'm going to discuss now, friends, everything I'm going to say now until the end of the series this evening is in which context, which time? Past, present, or future? Present and future. Friends, are you seeing that?
Yes.
But here's the point I want us to appreciate when we discuss the Elijah message. Extremely important point. Whatever is said during the church of Thyatira, and the church of Sardis, and the church of Philadelphia, on the Elijah message finds its application when again? In the church of Laodicea. Or with the last church. So it's like a river flowing from the top coming down. There are different segments of the river. But where does all the water end up eventually?
The bottom.
The bottom, right before it enters the sea. Are you following me, friends?
Yes.
So let me say one more time. So whatever we learned in the church of Thyatira, the church of Sardis, the church of Philadelphia, in the context of the Elijah message, finds application in the church of Laodicea. No. Let's get this clear though. Let's be clear. That there are some unique occurrences in the church of Laodicea. And we're going to discuss those unique occurrences this morning and this evening. So all I'm saying now must be honest in the context of when? What time period? No. Present application and soon future application. So let's get into it. So our message is entitled Jezebel's Decree. And I'm going to ask you to give me a little bit of leeway this morning, a little bit of time. I'm going to try and get us out here by 1:30. I'm not going to rush this morning because this is a very important message. And I wish more of us were here. I'm not going to rush. I'm not leaving either. You're going to sit right there and you're going to listen. Alright? So Jezebel's Decree. That's the message for this morning. So we're going to look at 1 Kings 21 from 1 to 18. And I'm going to pick up from 18 to 23 this evening. So 1 Kings 21 verse 1 says, And it came to pass after these things that Naboth the Jezreelite had a vineyard which was in where? Jezreel. Hard by the palace of Ahab, king of Samaria. Now Jezreel is an interesting place. Jezreel was in this place they call it Jezreel Valley. It was a valley, I'm showing you actual pictures, friends, here. It was called, it's still called Israel's breadbasket. Friends, you got that? So Jezreel was called, and still is called, Israel's breadbasket. No, when you talk about a place that's a breadbasket, what does that mean? A place that's flourishing, growth, yes? Nourishing. So that's from whence this Jezreelite came, named Naboth, but his vineyard was close to those of King Ahab. No. What does Jezreel mean? I'll give you a reference there. Jezreel, the word Jezreel comes from two Hebrew root words, meaning to sow and Almighty. Put together, the two root words mean God will sow or God has sown. I want the church listening to what I'm saying. Now, everything I'm saying this morning is going to tie up. Very tight. But you need to be very focused at the start. So Jezreel means that God will sow or God has sown. Are you getting the picture? Yes. So Jezreel means a place that who has sown? God. No, man. No, who has sown? God. God has sown. God has sown. God will sow. That's what Jezreel means. Yeah. You listen so far, Virgin? Alright. And Ahab spake unto Naboth, Ahab the king, speaking to Naboth, saying, Give me thy vineyard, that I may have it for a garden of herbs, because it is near unto my house, and I will give thee a better vineyard than it. Or if it seem good to thee, I'll give thee the worth of it in money. So here, Jezreel right here, this is the valley of Jezreel, a very beautiful, flourishing part of Israel, the breadbasket, where Naboth had a vineyard. And Jezreel means that who has sown? God has sown. No. Ahab's request seems reasonable, but there's a problem. In the Jewish economy, you're not supposed to permanently sell your what? Your inheritance. Inheritance is supposed to stay in your family for what? Forever and ever. So though it sounds reasonable, it's not biblically sound. So, question I want to ask. It says that we learn here that Naboth had a vineyard in Jezreel. Are we correct so far? Yes. But what's a vineyard in the biblical sense? Let's not guess. Isaiah 5 verse 7 says, For For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel, and the men of Judah is pleasant plant, and he looked for judgment, but behold oppression, for righteousness, but behold a cry. So the vineyard of the Lord is the house of Israel. So in the spiritual sense, the place Jezreel, what was present there? The house of Israel. The Lord, which is the house of Israel. Are you following me, Virgin?
Yes.
Who sows Jezreel?
God.
Alright, very good. A lot of some of you are following me. No. A vineyard, what's in this vineyard? Let's not guess. Some of Solomon 7:2 says, 7:12 says, let us get up early to the vineyards. Let us see if the vine flourish, whether the tender grape appear. So the vineyard has what in there? Grapes. Vines, and what's on the vines? Grapes. Are you following that, friends?
Yes.
Who planted this still, friends? I just want to God. I just want to make sure we're clear. Alright. And the pomegranates bud forth, there will I give thee my loves. Now, Matthew 9:17 speaks to us about what comes from the new wine. Let me explain that. The Bible describes two types of wine. The Bible describes new wine, which is a grape juice, just squeezed with no fermentation. Brethren, are you listening?
Yes.
But the Bible also describes a wine that's maddening to the mind. Wine is a mocker. Strong drink is what? Raging. That's the wine that is what? Fermented. They call it the old wine. Your friends, are you following me so far?
Oh, yes.
But hear what Matthew 9:17 says. Neither do men put new wine into old bottles, else the bottles break, and the wine runneth out, and the bottles perish. But they put what? New wine into new bottles, and both are preserved. Now, when Christ said this, he said in the context that he was having an issue with the Pharisees. So he was speaking his words, which was like new wine doctrines, but the Pharisees could not what? Accept it because they were what? Old bottles. Listen, friends.
Yes.
So they were hearing new doctrine, not new in the sense that it was there before, but new in the sense that it was originally coming from whose mouth? Christ's mouth. So Christ was speaking grape juice. Are you following me, friends?
Yes.
New wine. And he's saying, my doctrines that are like new wine, freshly squeezed grape juice, are only good for what? New bottles. New bottles, new because they have been what? Regenerated, a changed heart.
Yes.
So friends, not everybody who hears every message can tolerate every message.
True. Right.
So new wine, the grape juice, must be placed into what? New bottles. Bottles that are new in the sense that they have a newness of life, a regeneration by the Spirit of God, a transformed heart, converted hearts, a new heart. So, wine represents doctrines or teachings. Let's back up now. So, Naboth is a Jezreelite from Jezreel, a place that God sowed. We learned that God sowed and God has planted a vineyard. And the vineyard is the house of Israel. From whence forth what rise up? Vines that brings forth what? Grapes. And the grapes produce what? New wine, new doctrines. But it's even getting more interesting. There's a distinct vintage from Jezreel. What is the word vintage? Vintage speaks about that crop of grapes that come for that particular year. So you can have one vineyard, but you can have different vintage of grapes. Are you following me?
Yes.
But the house of God produces a particular vintage of wine because of the grape that was planted.
God.
So what are the unique taste of this new wine that is found in Jezreel? Are you listening, brethren?
Yes.
The 5 S's are unique to the wine that comes from Jezreel. What are the 5 S's? The sanctuary. The cleansing of the heavenly sanctuary, the ministry, with Christ's ministry in the most holy place, which began October 22nd, 1844. The second coming, personal, visible, pre-millennium return of Jesus. The Sabbath. Are you listening, Bridget?
Yes.
So the wine that comes from Jezreel is good wine.
Yes.
Not the wine that maddens your head, brethren. The wine that is calm into the stomach and clears the mind. The Sabbath. The obligation to observe the 7-day Sabbath and the role of the Sabbath in the great end-time conflict as seen in Revelation 11 to 14. The spirit of prophecy. Ellen White's ministry as a modern-day manifestation. The state of the dead. That immortality is not an inherent human quality, but something God people receive only through faith in Jesus Christ.
Yes.
So that's the vintage that comes from Jezreel. Are you following me so far?
Yes.
So Naboth has a vineyard in Jezreel. The place that, who has planted this particular vintage of wine?
God.
God. Distinct wine. 1 Kings 21:3 now. Now Naboth responding to Ahab's request that he wants to what? He wants to either buy or do some trade for his vineyard. And Naboth said to Ahab, the Lord forbid it me that I should give the inheritance of my fathers unto thee. So Naboth recognized that the vintage, this wine that he has, these distinct doctrinal messages, are those that he received by what? Inheritance. So they're what? Precious and priceless.
Yeah.
I wonder who he received them from. Let's look at some of these people here. Who is this? William Miller. Yes, who is this? Samuel Snow. Who is this? James White. Who is this? Ellen White. Who is this?
Joseph Bates.
Joseph Bates. Who is this?
No.
And that's not Steve Haskell. That's
Andrews.
yes, Ian Andrews. These are the pioneers, are the forefathers that we have inherited this vintage from. Virgin, are you listening?
Yes.
I'm giving a spiritual application now.
Yes.
Now, Ellen G. White says here, the standard bearers who have fallen dead are to speak to the printed on their writings. I'm instructed that thus their voices are to be heard. So we are the ones who have inherited this one. This vineyard. With this special one. Vintage. Which has significant features of this type of wine. It has these 5 what? S's. Remember we discussed 5 S's?
Yeah.
Sanctuary, the second coming, the Sabbath, the spirit of prophecy, state of the dead. So in a spiritual sense, Naboth is saying, I can't give you my what? Inheritance. Because these doctrines came to what? Much what? Sweat and blood. And prayer. And study. Now, last event 72, first paragraph says, in reviewing our past history, having traveled over every step of advance to our present standing, I can say, praise God. As I see what the Lord has wrought, I am filled with astonishment and with confidence in Christ as leader. We have nothing to fear for the future, except as we shall forget the way the Lord has led us and His teaching in our past. So she's saying, as long as we don't forget the what? The vintage. From whence comes this what? This wine. From Jezreel. We are safe, brethren.
Amen.
So the vineyard represents the house of Israel, the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and its historical, biblical, doctrinal inheritance. Brethren, are you hearing me?
Yes.
So in Jezreel, who has planted the vineyard? God. So these doctrines that are unique to Adventists are vintage.
Yes.
Special messages. And we dare not part with these because it's of our what? Inheritance. And there's a law that says in Israel, you can't sell your inheritance, never ever. It must stay with you. So who does Naboth represent? Well, we talk about Naboth now. So Naboth is the person who is in charge of the vineyard, yes? So who does Naboth represent? Manuscript 27, 1897, first paragraph. The Lord has made His people the repository of sacred truth. Repository means that's the place, the receptacles. Those that keep the sacred truth. Are you following me?
Yes.
So Naboth's responsibility is to what? Keep the vintage going.
Yes.
Keep the new wine going. Are you following, brethren?
Yes.
Upon every individual who has had the light of the present truth devolves his duty of developing that truth on a higher scale than it hitherto been done. But should we be in trust of sacred advanced truth and yet be satisfied to work in a narrow selfish line? So brethren, this Seventh-day Adventist church has been given an inheritance.
Yes.
And our job is to improve on the inheritance, not to sell out.
Amen. Right. Amen.
So neighbor represents uncompromising Seventh-day Adventists who holds true to the historical, biblical Adventism and present truth.
Amen.
Unmovable. But who does Ahab represent? Well, without a struggle, 1 Kings 21 verse 1, Ahab, king of where? Samaria. So he's a king. So if he's a king, he's the what? Represents the what? Secular power of the state. Does it follow? Logical. He's a king, so he's not seen off the religious side, but represents the what? Secular power of the what? The state. He's a king, he's not a priest. Are you seeing it, friends?
Yes.
Here, this is where God becomes very interesting now. So 1 Kings 21 verse 2 says, And Ahab spake unto Naboth and said, Give me thy vineyard, that I have it for God of hers, because it is near unto me. And Naboth said to him, to Ahab, The Lord forbid me, that I should give the inheritance of my fathers unto thee. The Mosaic law forbade the people to sell their inheritance. Ahab did not care about God's law, but Naboth did. Now, here it becomes very interesting. I want you to pay close attention now. And I'm not going to rush, but you have to get these points. Let's read it together. And Ahab spake unto Naboth, saying, Give me thy vineyard, that I may have it for a garden of herbs. Now, this is amazing. So you have a whole field of vintage vines. And this man over his covetousness not only want the land, but he wants what? Take out the what? Vintage and put on what? Herbs. What a thing. This is, we have to spend some time and look at this. So this plot of land called Jezreel, where God has sown, this secular power says what? I not only want the land, I'm going to rip out those what? Vintage grapes and put in what? Herbs. Now when I was reading, I was preparing this week, I said, Lord, what does this mean? The Lord gave me some insight. Listen, look at this insight now. So I'm going to look at Deuteronomy 8:78, and I'm going to juxtapose to Deuteronomy 11 verse 10. Are you following me?
Yeah.
So I'm putting two sections of the Bible together to make a point by juxtaposing them. Listen carefully now. So Deuteronomy 8 verse 7 says, For the Lord thy God bringeth thee into a what? Good land.
Yes.
Good land. A land of brooks of water, of fountains, and depths that spring out of valleys and hills. A land of wheat and barley and what? Vines. So the good land is what in there? Vines. Now let's look now at Deuteronomy 11 verse 10. Not as a land of Egypt, from whence thou came out, whether thou sowest thy seed, waters it with thy foot, as a garden of herbs. So friends, I'm making a juxtaposition here. I'm not discussing here vines versus vegetables. That's not what I'm doing. I'm discussing here vines from the good land of Jezreel versus the herbs of Egypt.
Amen.
Yes.
Do you get it, brethren?
Yes.
So we're not discussing here herbs versus wine. No. We're discussing here the good land producing the vintage, the true wine, the true doctrines.
Yes.
Versus what? The herbs of the land of Egypt.
Wow.
So what are the issues here, friends? Root of the grapevine and plant a garden of herbs. This is not done in Jezreel, the place that God has planted. How do you take out the vintage and put on a garden of herbs? How is that possible? But Ahab says, yes, I want your vineyard. But I want to go even further. I want to take out your vintage and put on some herbs from Egypt. The word of God goes on now. So here it is, friends. Roots of the vineyard to plant herbs. To the vineyard of Jezreel have good messages of the sanctuary. Herbs of Egypt says dominionism. Now, what heard about dominionism? Dominionism is this principle that's going around in these conservative evangelical churches. They believe that God's kingdom is really literally right here. Now the sanctuary tells us where is God's throne and place of abode? The heaven. So the sanctuary is a heavenly sanctuary. Is that so?
Yes.
But from Egypt, Egypt says dominionism. So we're going to have oppressive systems to put God's... I want to just try this thing. But this is happening right now, friends. In the context of the present administration right now, dominionism has never been more Rampant. The vineyard of Jezreel said the second coming. Herbs of Egypt said the rapture. The vineyard of Jezreel said the Sabbath. The herbs of Egypt said Sunday. The vineyard of Jezreel said the spirit of prophecy. The herbs of Egypt said false prophets. The vineyard of Jezreel said the state of the dead, that the dead is dead. There is no consciousness in death. The herbs of Egypt says the immortality of the soul. So you don't only want the man's vineyard, you want to take out the vintage and place it on the herbs of Egypt. Now, first selected message 204, second paragraph says, the enemy of souls has sought to bring in supposition that a great reformation was to take place among Seventh-day Adventists, and that this reformation would consist in giving up the doctrines which stand as the pillars of our faith. Are you hearing, brethren?
Yes.
And engaging in a process of reorganization. Were this reformation to take place, what would result? Have mercy on us, O Lord. Have mercy on me. The principles of truth that God in His wisdom has given to the remnant church would be discarded, or religion would be changed. The fundamental principles that have sustained the work for the last 50 years would be accounted as error, and new organization would be established. If we sell out this vintage, this is going to go look at. We have the herbs of Egypt.
Yes.
Books of a new order would be written.
My Lord.
I remember I went to Jamaica recently. I went to the bookshop. I said, what's going this ABC? I said, what's this? Rubbish. Rubbish.
Yes.
I had to weave my way to the back of the bookstore to find an LNG white book there. I was so upset, but I said, Lord, let me be temperate and under control. I was visibly upset. I said, this is madness. All these Sunday writers and this rubbish up front. You could follow what the man break your neck.
Yes.
And the vintage was at the back.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't listen to me.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
The Sabbath, of course, will be lightly regarded as also the God who created it. Nothing will be allowed to stand in the way of this new movement. The leaders would teach that virtue is better than vice, but God being removed, they would place their dependence on human power, which without God is worthless. Their foundation will be built on sand, and storm and tempest would sweep away the structure. We're not going to sell out. I'm a man from Jezreel. I'm a Jezreelite. What about you? You look undecided. Before the sermon finished, someone asked the question again. I said, I'm a man from Jezreel. What about you? Still no answer from the church. I don't get no answers yet. I'm going to ask it for the third time, but not now. Let's delve in some more. You need to know where you are from.
That's right.
1 Kings 21 verse 2. And he goes on to say, I'll give thee for a better vineyard than it. So, you want to give me a better vineyard than this?
I know.
Than the one in Jezreel? The one that God has planted?
Exactly.
God has sown?
Exactly.
High level vintage? Uncomparable doctrinal message from Jezreel? Well, let us see what vintage is planned to give. A state religion, also called an established religion or official religion, is a religious body or creed officially endorsed by the state. So the best the state can give is as what? State religion. Is that so? Now, are we seeing that state religion being offered to us now? Let's look at that.
Yes.
So, Elder Big B Parton on January 3rd, which year, brethren? 2020. So it's just, I'm giving you a fresh message. This is fresh bread. It was entitled, the article was entitled, Bill Barr. Who is Bill Barr? The Attorney General.
Yep.
Warrior for theocracy. Why didn't we know this until now? Listen, brethren, listen carefully. The Attorney General has gradually revealed his terrifying agenda. Who knew and why was this concealed so long? So what's his agenda? William Barr, the Attorney General of the United States, has also served on the board of the Catholic Information Center. Although Opus Dei has officially denied that he's a member, just as the political and media establishment conveniently overlooked Barr's long-term commitment to the unitary executive theory. Now, the unitary executive theory means that there's all power in the president.
Yes. That's why they.
Are you listening, brethren?
Yes.
The unitary executive theory, unitary, uni mean one, executive decision. Who's the head of the executive branch of the government? The president.
Yes.
So I mean, this said that there's all power in the president. He can do anything he wants to do.
That's why he's doing it.
He can shoot someone in the middle of New York and get away with
He
it.
said so on Fifth Avenue. He can shot somebody.
In its most extreme form, they didn't seem to know that he was even more committed to the far-right social conservatism It wasn't until Barr gave a speech at Notre Dame last October that everyone finally understood what degree he is a religious crusader.
Wow.
In that speech, he said many things, blaming secularists for causing immense pain and suffering and moral chaos. He suggested that the law is being used as a battering ram to break down traditional moral values and to establish moral relativism as a new orthodoxy, and went on to detail how he was counteracting that as Attorney General. Friends, are you hearing?
Oh, yes.
The man's on a mission.
Yes.
His views are what Catherine Stewart and Caroline Frederickson identified in a New York Times op-ed as religious nationalism, which basically implies either a theocratic state or a single
Religion
state.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, Attorney General, that's his mission.
Yes.
He wants a single religion state.
Yeah.
So, like a state religion.
Yeah.
So, like what Ahab, the state, was
Yes.
offering Naboth.
Yes. Yes.
Yes? Let's trade. I'm going to give you this state religion. What does state religion look like? Paula White to head Trump's fake office. Religion News Service, Monday, November 4th, 2019. Recently. Just 2 months ago.
2 months ago.
So I'm giving you new information. Fresh. So this now we're talking about is the state religion being made. Neighbor,
Paula White.
we're going to offer you the state religion. And this lady has been elevated to be what? The head. She actually have an official White House position.
Mercy.
Yes. So we see a church-state union. And it's a beautiful cartoon. Trump here looking all misty-eyed.
Beautiful.
And this unfortunately unattractive looking woman here describe herself as evangelicals. And they are partners in the same bed.
Bedfellows.
Or if it seem good to thee, I'll give thee the word of it in what? Money. So if I can't give you the state religion,
Right.
I'll just buy you out and done.
Yes, sir.
Politics. Trump rolls out policies that would push federal funds to religious groups and advance parent schools. I want you to focus on that. Push federal funds to our religious groups. When is the date of this? January 16, 2020. So here's a joke, though, Frederick. We are all caught up with this impeachment issue. Well, this is going on there.
Yes.
This is prophecy.
Yes.
Impeachment issue is not prophecy.
No.
Yes, it goes for the big picture of prophecy.
Yes.
But this is prophecy.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
So we are caught up with impeachment. January 16, 2020. So if this is possible, I wonder if Ahab can indeed buy out Naboth. Well, you can push federal funds to religious groups.
Imagine.
Key points in the article was President Donald Trump on Thursday issued a series of policies designed to push money into religious organizations and advance parent schools. Let's push towards our state religion.
Yes.
And join William Barr
Yes.
on his crusade.
No worry.
The policies were a reversal of Obama-era requirements that enforce tight restrictions on the way taxpayer money flows to religious organization services. So in the past, your tax dollar could only go to a church to fund non-religious activities.
Right.
But that's changed, brethren. That's changed. So King Ahab wanted Naboth's vineyard for a vegetable garden. And Naboth said, I can't sell it, my inheritance. It's against the law. And Naboth Ahab being less than a man, went to his room, turned his face to the wall and sulk and said, I'm not going to eat. Weak back men. I don't do very well with weak back men. I'm being honest, brethren.
Yes.
Men must be strong.
Yes.
Strong. Yes.
Take a stand.
Take a stand.
Irrespective of what it may cost.
Yes.
When many weak back men unfortunately have strong back women. Jezebel came to Ahab and said, I leave it to me, I'll get you what you want. So who does Jezebel represent? Jezebel represents the papacy of the Catholic Church system.
Yes.
We looked at that last week in more detail. I'm not going to be able to go into that now. So, Jezebel, the Roman Catholic Church system, saying to the state, I'll get you what you want. I'll get you the vineyard of Naboth. This is interesting now. So 1 Kings 21 verse 8 says, and so she, Jezebel, wrote letters in Ahab's name and seal them with his seal. Revelation 13:15 says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast, the church state system, we're looking at, friends, should what? Both what? Speak and cause. Friends, are you following me?
Yes.
The image of the beast, the church state system, is going to speak and cause. Question: how does a nation speak? The speaking of a nation is the action of its legislative and what?
Judicial.
So a nation speak by making what? Laws. Laws. Alright? Great contrast the 442 first paragraph. So last events 132 fourth paragraph says, to secure popularity and patronage, legislators will yield to the demand. Don't ask a question. Based on what we're seeing going on with the present issue of this impeachment, do we doubt that we are at this stage?
No.
I've never in my life seen a bunch of weak-backed men and women in my life like what I'm seeing going on right
I'm
now.
telling you.
It's unbelievable.
Yes, it is.
Spineless protozoan organisms. I'm speaking not very strong. I know I'm speaking very strong.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's going on there? A lie is a lie.
Yes.
Exactly.
Pink, white, blue, orange, lie is a lie. Right is right, wrong is wrong.
I'm
Yes.
telling you.
No. I'm twisted up jargons and some protozoan language I've never heard before.
Exactly.
We are at this stage, friends.
Yep.
It won't be too difficult, friends. To secure popularity and patronage, legislators will yield to the demand for a Sunday law.
Yes.
By the decree enforcing this institution on the paper saying the violation of the law of God, our nation will disconnect herself fully from righteousness. Do you understand what this means? So Ellen White saw it many years ago that for the Sunday law to pass, we had to have beat back protozoan Congress.
Them right now.
Yep.
And we're there right now.
Yes.
People don't know right from wrong. People just confused, or so it seems.
Ignore.
People say something 20 years ago, 20 years later, I'm saying something totally different.
Yeah.
What is that nonsense? Time don't change principle.
Oh, yeah.
It's wrong then, it's still wrong now.
Exactly.
So that setup must be there. And then the Sunday law, a decree will be passed. So, Sundays are a mark of authority. Who said that? The Catholic Record of London, Ontario, Canada, September 1st, 1923. Sunday, straight from the horse's mouth, is a law of the Holy Catholic Church alone. Thomas Enright, the CCSR president, Redeem Tupper's College, Roman Catholic, that was in 1884. These statements were never retracted. Still believed by the papacy.
Yeah. Yes. Straight from the house.
National law, Sunday law is coming soon, friends. And it says here, so she, Jezebel, wrote letters, this decree, the Sunday law decree. In whose name? And seal them with his seal. Seal of the President of the United States of America.
Wow.
Ah! Official.
Yes.
Official. No, this is, hold on to your chairs now.
Oh, yes.
Remember what I said at the start? We're Seventh-day Adventists. Remember what I said that?
Yes.
And we're not leaving the ship for no reason.
Right.
So don't run the door right now. Stay right where you are. This is where you're going to be a little bit uncomfortable. So 1 Kings 21 verse 8 says, so she, Jezebel, wrote letters in Ahab's name and sealed them with his seal and set the letters unto the elders and the nobles. So who does the elders and nobles represent? Let's not guess. No, I preached a sermon before but I made an error because the obvious answer was just too much for me then. I couldn't bear it. But now the Lord said, son, it's there, I've explained it to you, give it to the people. So we're asking who are the elders and the nobles? Very easy to understand. That were in his city dwelling with. So they were also what? Jezebelites.
Yes.
Ah! They were also the place that who had sown? God had sown. What did he sow? Good vintage.
Yes.
How many people are getting the point?
Yes.
So the elders and the leaders were church members to who? Naboth. Friends, how you see that?
Yes.
The elders and leaders were church members to who? Naboth. See there, friends? That were in his city, not another city.
Right.
But they were anywhere. Jezreel.
Yes.
Not another dwelling, but who? Telling it who? Naboth. So they're right in the church with Naboth. They were Jezreelites. So who does the elders represent? Let's look at what Ezekiel 8:11 says. And before them stood 70 men of the elders of the house of who?
Israel.
So these elders are the elders of the house of where? Israel. Where was Jezebel? In Israel. Alright? Now who are these elders? Splendor to shadow. 283, third paragraph. I searched to find this quotation. Those who should have been spiritual leaders, elders of the house of Israel, were seen offering incense before the adulterous representation introduced into the hidden chambers within the temple court, making reference to Ezekiel 8 verse 11. So who are the elders? Spiritual leaders of where?
Israel.
Israel. Where particularly? Jezreel. Because they're Jezreelite. They're from the same city and they what? They're what? Dwell in between. Neighbors. So who are the nobles? Exodus 24 verse 11 says, and though these nobles of Israel gazed upon God, he did not destroy them. In fact, they ate covenant meat, eating and drinking in his presence. So the nobles of where?
Israel.
Well, the King James Version Dictionary, Bible Dictionary says noble, distinguished from commoners by rank and title as a noble personage. I wonder if this is the church listening what's being said. So therefore, the elders and the nobles represent apostate SDA spiritual leaders. The elders represent apostate Seventh-day Adventist spiritual leaders. Are we willing to accept that?
Yeah.
We have no other choice because the Bible says so. What about these nobles? The nobles represent apostate persons in the SDA church with rank and title. I believe we have one of them in the White House. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes, two.
Oh, it's too, I didn't know, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
No, these are the type of message you present to Adventists, and they look so despondent. Brethren, I'm not saying this for you to look despondent.
Side cry.
This is Elijah's message, brethren. It's my job as a preacher of God's words to preach his message.
Yes.
It's your job to listen and go home and read it for yourself if you're doubtful right now. But it is true what you hear. And I'm not stretching the exegesis, friend. Exegesis is spot on. The elders and the nobles were from where? The same city as who? Neighbor. Dwelling where they were? Same place. Same place they dwell. The elders and nobles represent apostate spiritual leaders. That's the elders and the nobles. Apostate persons in the SDA church with rank and title. What about that conference president? What about that general conference president? What about that church conference, a church pastor? What about even some of the elders who have titles and positions of influence? They're the nobles in the church.
Yeah.
But let's go a little further. Verse 8. And she wrote letters in Ahab's name and sealed them with his seal and sent the letters unto the who? Elders and the nobles. So question now. Will the SDA apostate spiritual leaders, rank and title members be the hands to enforce natural son law among Adventists?
Yes.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I was asking that.
Yes.
But let's not take our word. I'm going to ask the question again and let the Bible answer. Let's ask the question again. Will the apostate mean those who have strayed away from the truth?
Yes.
Seventh-day Adventist spiritual leaders, those who rank and title, be the hands to enforce the natural son law among Seventh-day Adventists?
Yes.
Well, let's see what the Word of God says. 1 Kings 21 verse 11 says, and the men of his city, even the what? Elders and nobles who were the inhabitants in his city. You see what God keeps saying that his city.
Yes.
Did as Jezebel had said unto them.
Yes.
And as it was written in the letters which she had sent unto them. So the letter she sent to them was not closed letter, it was an open letter. They could read what was in there. Because for them to do what she sent to them, what they had to do? Know what was in the letter.
Yes.
So the question is asked. Will the apostate Seventh-day Adventist leaders and those of rank and title be the hands to enforce natural son law among Seventh-day Adventists? The answer is yes.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Wow. Heavy stuff, Bridget. Yes? Yep. We're going to continue. You still owe me some more time. We're going to continue. Lastly, verse 156, second paragraph says, we have far more to fear from within than from
Without.
Is it consistent, brethren?
Yes. Yes.
The hindrances to the strength and success are far greater from the church itself than from the world. Which church? The Adventist church. That's the context you're talking about here.
Yes.
DD 35, 4th paragraph. I can't remember what DD is. Soon come back to me. The dignitaries of church and state will unite to what? Bribe, persuade, or compel all classes to honor the what? Sunday. The lack of divine authority will be supplied by oppressive enactments. So are we expecting our elders and our nobles to compromise when they are what? Bribe, persuade, and compel?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
What I'm saying is nothing far-fetched, brethren.
No.
I'm just giving you the biblical support of what the spiritual prophets have said years ago.
Yes.
Now, it gets even more interesting now. So the plan was, she wrote in her letters saying, proclaim a fast and set Naboth on high among the who?
The people.
So take him out of the city or in the city? In the city, among his people.
The way people are.
And set 2 men, sons of Belial, before him to bear witness against him. So who are the sons of Belial? Well, Deuteronomy 13:13 says, certain men, the children of Belial, are gone out from among
You.
Oh, so the sons of Belial were in the church, or they're in the church?
Yes. Right.
Yeah?
Right.
Yeah? They're among them in the church, yeah?
Yes.
And have withdrawn the inhabitants of the city, saying, let us go and serve other gods which you have not known. You have some people among in the church that they have this persona.
Yes.
They always want to pull the bridge somewhere else.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yes, there are people in the church that keep doing that. I say, what's going on? They're sons of Belial.
Yes, Lord.
They have gone out from amongst us.
Yes.
And their job is to what? Pull the inhabitants of the city, the people, take them out of here.
Yes.
All these strange doctrines they hear blowing left, right, and center. No. You want to know who is the sons of Belial? Let's read it now. Last Events 172, second paragraph. Those who have had opportunities to hear and receive of the truth and who have united with what? Seventh-day Adventist Church, calling themselves the commandment-keeping people of God, and yet possess no more vitality and consecration to God than do the nominal churches.
Mercy.
There are people in the church
Yes.
who like to be a part of Adventism because it looks
Yes.
fashionable.
My Lord.
Because we're different.
Yes.
But their heart is far from the truth.
True.
They're just like the nominal churches.
Yes.
Special manuscript 1.5. I saw the nominal church and nominal Adventist. Nominal mean in name only.
Yep.
So Adventist or Adventist all in one. Name only.
Name only.
Like who?
Judas.
Was Judas an insider?
Oh, yes.
Yes, he was one counted amongst the 12.
Yes.
He was a church member. Probably sitting beside Naboth.
Yes.
From the same city.
Yes.
Would betray us to the Catholics to obtain their influence to come against the truth. The saints then will be an obscure people, little known to the Catholics, but the churches and nominal Adventists are who know of our faith and custom, for they hated us on account of the Sabbath, for they could not refute it. So there are people who even in the church who even hate the Sabbath.
My Lord.
Watching their watch every minute. I need to go and catch a store to get my discount on my car tires. I know many people like that in the church.
Yes.
The preachers preach too long, they get nervous and agitated. Because they have somewhere else to go. Will betray the saints and report them to the Catholics.
Mercy.
So the sons of Belial represents nominal Adventists. The sons of Belial represents nominal Adventists. Nominal how? Adventists in name only.
Name only.
But where are they? In the where?
Church.
The church. Sitting right amongst us. So what have we learned so far? The confederacy against Naboth. Naboth is the uncompromising Seventh-day Adventist, and his vineyard. His vineyard is a historical doctrinal inheritance and present truth. Who are those against Naboth? Ahab the state, Jezebel the papacy, elders and nobles, the apostate, Seventh-day Adventist, spiritual leaders, those of rank and title. Not all I'm talking about here, of course, clearly. And the sons of Belial, those nominal Adventists amongst us. That's what's stacked against Naboth. So here's a plan now how to get Naboth's vineyard. It's a fourfold plan. Proclaim a fast, 1. Set Naboth an eye, 2. Bear witness against him, and then stone that he may die. 4-part plan.
Have mercy.
Set Naboth an eye. No, proclaim a fast, set Naboth an eye, bear witness against him, and stone him that he may die. That's in 1 Kings 21, 9 and 10. So, 4 stages to Jezebel's decree, or 4 stages to the national son-in-law. So there are 4 stages to the national son-in-law. So that letter that she wrote, that decree that she wrote and stamped with whose stamp? Ahab. That's the son-in-law. And it's going to be brought forth now in 4 stages as it applied to the Adventist people. The Seventh-day Adventist people. Naboth. Those uncompromising Adventists. And who is going to be central to apply that to the Adventists? Elders, the leaders, and the sons of Belial.
Yes.
So that's where it's going to be applied. So the 4-stage decree: make a fast, set Naboth on high, falsely accuse him, and then stone him that he may die. So make a fast. Bible history of the Old Testament, volume 644, first paragraph. As if some great sin rested upon the city, and in consequence of it, some heavy judgment were to be averted. The eldership of Israel gathered people to a solemn fast. If it had been so, and some great sin, had been committed or were even suspected, it would have been the duty of the city thus to purge itself of guilt and complicity. And hence it was that, when blood had been shed and the doer of the crime remained unknown, the elders of this district had by a solemn act to clear themselves of the guilt. And that, as here, when a great crime was supposed to have been committed, all would humble themselves in fasting before they put away the evil doer from among them. So, proclaim a fast. Something major has happened amongst us, amongst the people. Proclaim a fast. Let's look at the spiritual application now. We're talking about the 4 stages of the son-in-law. Sunday shopping banned in Croatia. Now, as a part of a fast, there's almost always what? Rest from work, yes? Yeah, yes, man. So Sunday shopping is banned in Croatia from as far back as when? 2008. You knew that? Anybody here knew that? Oh, it's true. Yes. Here it is. USA Today. Now, this is not my. This is really deep. Very deep. See, the Croatian Parliament has passed a law forcing shops to close on Sundays in a concession to the Roman Catholic Church. So make a fast. No work on Sundays. No shopping on Sundays. Ban. CBN News. Return to the Bible. Poland reclaims Sunday as a day of rest. In Poland, lawmakers voted last week to reclaim Sunday as a day of rest by phasing out Sunday shopping by 2020. That was in 2017. Which year are we now? 2020. In 2012, Pope said that in defending Sunday as a day of rest, one defends human freedom. The country's Catholic bishops have praised the move, but say it does not go far enough. So proclaim a fast. Proclaim a time of Sunday rest, no shopping. So that's not only law in Croatia, but it's now in what? Poland. Time for God and rest. Catholic Poles rejoice as Sunday shopping ban comes into effect. Here it is, friends. Stores remain shuttered all over Poland as the country's new Sunday shopping ban went into effect on March 11. That was 2018. But here it is. But in 2020, they will be shut every Sunday. Proclaim a fast. What about Hobby Lobby? That's a store in the US that makes different, like teddy bears and all these stuff, furniture articles and stuff that you put in your house, right? Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Closed Sundays. Why? To allow employees for time and for family and worship. Proclaim a fast. What does it have to do with this man here? The Pope. So this is Laudato Si, his encyclical, which came out in 2015. This is what he said. Sunday, like the Jewish Sabbath, is meant to be a day which heals our relationship with God, with ourselves, and others, and with the world. So it's a time of what? Fast. It's a time of resting. Are you following? Each Sunday protects human action from becoming empty activism. Each Sunday also prevents that unfettered greed and sense of isolation which make it us seek personal gain to the detriment of all else. And so the day of rest, centered on the Eucharist, centered on the what? Not the Bible, but the Eucharist, sheds its light on the whole week and motivates us to greater concern for nature and the poor. Set a fast. Last Events, verse 140, first paragraph says, to defy the Sunday laws will, so no work on Sunday, that's the first step in the Sunday law. Proclaim a fast. Let's rest. To defy the Sunday laws will but strengthen in their persecution the religious zealots who are seeking to enforce them. Give them no occasion to call you lawbreakers. One does not receive the mark of the beast because he realizes the wisdom of keeping what? Peace by refraining from work that gives offense. So the first stage of the Sunday law is what? No work. No buying and selling. No buying. No shopping. No shopping. Not in Poland. Not in Croatia. Not at Hobby Lobby.
And Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. Others. Proclaim a fast. But you know there are different types of fasting, no friend. Isaiah 15 verse 4 says, but ye fast for strife and debate and to smite with the fist of wickedness. Ye shall not fast as you do this day, to make your voice be heard on high. So, we're going to have a fast and we're going to call neighbor in. But it's not a fast to get closer to God, it's a fast for what? Strife. And that brings us to what? The second phase. Set neighbor on high. In the assembly thus called neighbor was to be set on high, not in order to assign him an honorable place so as the more effective to rouse public indignation when one so honored was convicted of such crime, nor yet to give the appearance of impartiality to the proceedings that were to follow. So, give neighbor to what? Prominent place in the assembly. Friends, are you understanding? Don't let him stay in the pews down there. Rise him amongst his peers. Give him a place of what? Prominence. So he can be seen. Evidently, the fast had been appointed in humiliation for sin as yet unknown to the people. And the assembly was called to set before them the nature of the crime. Now, CHS Testaments for the Church 546, 5 and 546 said, listen carefully, friends. Our people have been regarded as too insignificant to be worthy of notice. The people here are Seventh-day Adventists. Yeah. Are you following me? Yeah. But a change will come. The Christian world is now making movements which will necessarily bring commandment-keeping people into the prominence. Set neighbor high. Yeah, so we're going to be set on a high, prominent place. We won't be able to hide. Nobody knows now. We're at 25 million people that nobody knows. You're Adventist, what does that mean? Who's that? Then, brethren, when the trouble comes in, we'll be what? Place in a what? Prominence. There's a constant supplanting of God's truth by the theories and false doctrine of human origin. Movements are being set on foot to enslave the conscience of those who will be loyal to God. The law-making powers will be against God's people. Every soul will be what? Tested. Commandment-keeping people will be what? Placed into what? Prominence. Set neighbor on. So the next stage is going to be an enforced observance of Sunday. Why? Because there's some sin amongst the people that causing the calamities. We're going to see that soon. But they brought neighbor high because there's some sin amongst us that's causing problems. The Great Controversy 615, second paragraph says, as the Sabbath has become the special point of controversy throughout Christendom, and religious and secular authorities have combined to what? Enforce the observance of Sunday. So the first was just what? Just don't buy, don't work. Just leave it, just go proclaim a fast. Second stage is what? Set neighbor tonight. And because of what? Some issues. We're going to see what the issues soon enough. The persistent refusal of a small minority to yield to the popular demand will make them objects of universal execration. Universal plan for destruction. Here it is now, friends. Last Events 129, 4th paragraph. Satan puts his interpretation upon events. Here it is now, friends. And they think, are you seeing now, friends? The elders, the nobles, and the sons of Belial, and the others who join them. As he would have them, that the calamities which fill the land are a result of what? Sunday breaking. Thinking to appease the wrath of God, these influential men make laws enforcing Sunday observance. So they think here, yes, it talk about those who are against neighbor, but in primary sense talking about those legislators.
Yeah.
Those men of Congress. Because there's an accusation now that what? You, this small group, is causing what? The calamities and the problems that's going on in the land. Great contrast, page 587. This very class put forth the claim that the fast-spreading corruption is largely attributable to the desecration of the so-called Christian Sabbath, and that enforcement of Sunday observance would greatly improve the morals of society. This claim is especially urged in America, where the doctrine of the true Sabbath has been most widely preached. 10 Matthew release 239, 1899. Satan puts his interpretation upon events and think as he would have them that calamities which fill the land are a result of what? Sunday breaking. Thinking to appease the wrath of God, these influential men make laws enforcing Sunday observance. Some of them will be thrust into prison, some will be in exile, some will be treated as slaves. Great Controversy 608, 1911. Last events 151st paragraph. Many will be martyrs for whose sake? Christ's sake, in standing in defense of the truth. There will be loss of property and even of life itself. Last events 152nd paragraph. And then it comes to let's falsely accuse Naboth. For this purpose, Naboth was set on high as one incriminated before the elders against whom witnesses were to rise, and on whom judgment was to be pronounced by the people of his own city. This explains how these two sons of Belial, who were to bear false testimony against Naboth, were set before him. So we're going to face some struggles, some of these nominal Adventists amongst us.
Yes.
Those non-Adventists in name only. So anti-Sabbath law, the third phase. It will be urged that the few, here's the accusation now. Accuse Naboth, here's the accusation now. The few who stand in opposition to an institution of the church and a law of the state are not to be tolerated. That it is better for them to suffer than for the whole nation to be thrown into confusion and lawlessness.
Yes.
Great Controversy 615, second paragraph. Continues. This argument will appear conclusive, and a decree will be issued against those who are the Sabbath of the fourth commandment, denouncing them as deserving of the severest punishment and giving the people liberty after a certain time to what? Put them to death. We have more to fear from within than from without.
Yes. True.
Why are we still the Adventists?
Oh, yes.
Are we leaving the ship?
No.
Not at all. We're staying right in the ship. Despite all the stuff that we're seeing that looks so dismal.
Ship of Zion.
So, and there came in, so we know at 1 Kings 21 verse 13. And there came in two men, children of Belial, and sat before him. And the men of Belial witnessed against him, even against Naboth, in the presence of the people, said, Naboth did blaspheme God and the king. Then they carried him forth out of the city and stoned him with stones, and he died. So the fourth stage is stone Naboth. So the first stage is proclaim a fast. Second stage is elevate Naboth and high. Third stage is accuse Naboth. The fourth stage is stone Naboth. Death decree enforcement. Though a general decree has fixed the time when commandment keepers may be put to death, their enemies will in some cases anticipate the decree, and before the time specified will endeavor to take their lives. But here is the consolation and the comfort I want to give us.
Yes.
The Lord permit Naboth to die in the fourth stage. But God has something planned for us in the fourth stage, friends.
Amen.
Us dying in the fourth stage will bring no glory to God. Yes, it brought glory to Naboth in his time. But in the time to come, the fourth stage, us dying there will bring no glory to God. Great Controversy 631, first paragraph. But none can pass the mighty guardians, stationed about every faithful soul.
Amen.
Some are sailing their flight from the cities and villages, But the swords raised against them break and fall powerless as a straw. Others are defended by angels in the form of what? Men of war. 1 Kings 21:14 said, Then they said to Jezebel, saying, Naboth is stoned and is dead. Verse 15 of 1 Kings 21. And it came to pass when Jezebel heard that Naboth was stoned and was dead, that Jezebel said to Ahab, Arise, take possession of the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite, which he refused to give thee for money. For Naboth is not alive, but dead. Mission seemed to be accomplished. Will it bless Naboth? He should have repented of his enemy, but he didn't. And verse 16 said, And it came to pass when Ahab heard that Naboth was dead, that Ahab rose up to go down to the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite to take possession of it. Began with envy, led to murder and to theft. Naboth was murdered in the king's name, and now the king steals his vineyard. But here we're bringing in someone else. And the word of the Lord came to Elijah the Tishbite, saying, Arise and go down to meet a king of Israel, which is in Samaria. Behold, he is in the vineyard of Naboth, whither he is gone down to possess it. Come back later, friends. The Elijah message of judgment will be proclaimed as a part of the Elijah message. Friends, it might seem dismal, but it's a message of judgment that will fall on Ahab, and Jezebel, and those who associate with her and him. May God bless his people, and may we take this message, and may we study it through again. And may we stay in the ship, and a firmer faith as Seventh-day Adventists. We're going to pray and pray for lunch. And I'll see you back this evening at 4 o'clock. May we pray.